optimism, purpose, and spirit. Be aware that life is short and you can change in any moment. In chapter 22, which is being better than yesterday, is kind of looking at evaluation of yourself, which leads to the next stage of feeling good. In chapter 23, it says, let yourself know that it's okay to celebrate the small victories. So you will be, so you will better yourself and learn to lead with heart, which comes in chapter 28. I'm sorry, chapter 24. The heart is an emotional conductor that radiates how you're feeling to every cell in the body via the heart's electromagnetic field. This energy field can be detected up to 5 to 10 feet away. The heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. In other words, it's saying be genuine, putting your heart into your work. All the things that you do because all all of the things that you do because people will know when you are fake, as it gives off no energy. You must tap into the power of your heart. In chapter 25, it says, become the CEO, the CEO being the chief energy officer, which means that you share positive, powerful, and contagious energy with your coworkers, teammates, and clients and customers by communicating from the heart using what is called emotional intelligence. Um, in the book, George had been leading by fear and negativity, which got him nowhere except drowning deeper and deeper into negativity and making his team members and losing team members because of his negativity. So, with your emotional intelligence, which is used to communicate effectively and contagiously with your team, that's the people on your bus, you stay in sync to get your goals accomplished, which leads to rule number 7. Enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. This means that the more excited and enthused you are as a leader, the more other people will want to associate with you and help you. The very thing that Danny Young always talks about, um, and this was exciting to me because when he talks, he is so enthused, and I know all of us know um, from his times when he is speaking for at Symmetry and especially from his sound bites. And this will help not only in writing business, but especially in business building. Look at challenges as opportunities, get a reputation that people want to follow. When you feel good, the people around you will feel good. People are always buying into you. Let your presence, your energy talk for you. Let your energy spread to all those around. Do not broadcast negative energy. Remember that the collective energy of all of us here on the Cook team should and will promote positive energy and enthusiasm, propelling us to all the next levels. Then comes chapter 26, love. Love your passengers or your team members. Become like a love magnet. Love yourself, your employees, and your family. Recognition is all that is wanted. People want to know that you care. If you treat them with care, they will love you back. Love is a process, not a goal. Love is something that needs to be nurtured. It is the focus of bringing out the best in everyone, including yourself. When you bring out the best in others, you will bring out the best in yourself. This will help them to discover the value inside of themselves. And when customers know that you love them, they will give you more back. So remove the dust and know where the gold is inside. That's it. That's all I got, Chris. That's it. Can't hear him. I can't hear you.
Hey, I was saying some really good stuff. it was so awesome. It was probably life-changing for me and nobody else that heard me.
I don't know. I don't
So
know
it
if
was
that was 7 minutes, but
mind-blowing type stuff. But hey, so very proud of you. That was a great breakdown. I love that. And this book, I pray all of you are out there reading this book. The Energy Bus. It's such a great book, and it talks about energy, and it's the energy you give off is the energy you'll attract back to you in your
that's
life.
right.
And that's the beautiful thing. So great breakdown, Sharon. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you, and that's pretty awesome. So thank you so much. All right. So let me see. Boom. Okay. I'm gonna unmute you,
Here we
and then I got
go.
another
Can you
person.
guys hear me?
Man, I can hear you. How are you doing, buddy?
We back, baby.
Man, I tell you, you are back. That is for sure. I'm gonna have Lauren unmute at the same time. Hold on just a second.
I'm here.
All right. About to say, I think I unmuted like 4 other people. Man, so glad to have you back, buddy. So where you been, Elijah? Tell the people where you been, man.
I got a short story. Hey, I got married to the most incredible woman on the planet. She's on here. Her last name hasn't changed yet, so she's labeled as Maggie Schaefer. But we got married down in Beaufort, South Carolina, and been on a whirlwind of a honeymoon the last couple of weeks, and just got back last Thursday.
Nice, buddy. Nice. So where did you guys get to go on your honeymoon?
So I haven't had a chance to catch up with you yet. I've got a crazy update. So the initial plan was to go to Tahiti for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Out in this island chain called Bora Bora. Now, if you guys have kept up with the news at all, Tahiti is a French territory, and France closed as a country, closed the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Tahiti had to do the same thing. We didn't find out about it until we were getting on the plane to go to Los Angeles and then Tahiti. And so we find out from the travel agency day of, while we're in transit, that the country closed. And so on the fly, we got about a 4 or 5 hour flight to the West Coast. We plan an entirely new honeymoon and then fly right back out. So what we did, it was incredible. We kicked it on an island in Key West for a week. And then the second week, we went to the mountains out in Shenandoah at a cabin and snowboarded and skied for a week. So it ended up being absolutely incredible. And we're going to Bora Bora again. It'd just be for the 1 year anniversary when the country's open. So
when they open the country back up. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I love that, man. Hey, at least you improvised, right? That's what you guys do, man. Hey, also that's a great lesson in marriage.
It was
it's
amazing.
really the rest of your life, right, Lauren? Yeah. So
you handled that. You survived. Good job.
Yeah. Hey, well, welcome to it. So congratulations to you and Maggie, buddy. Super happy for you guys and just what a wonderful couple. And so very proud of you, buddy. I know, really it's the first time we've had you on here since you've now broke out as an agency owner here at Symmetry.
True, actually.
At the ripe old age of 23, buddy. So it's like you taking on a lot of tasks, getting married, you know what I mean, taking trips and stuff like that, and becoming an agency owner all in the same thing. And really, I started thinking about it, Elijah. You did this really in your first full-time year because you started with this part-time the first year while you were in college and made good there. And then really in your first full-time year, become agency owner here with Symmetry Financial. So super proud of you, young man. And, I wanted to get you on the call today and pick your brain. And Lauren, certainly you think anything that you're wanting to ask him in this round, but, we've got a conference coming up March 24th, 25th. And I think about you, and I think one of your prime examples of really a turning corner in your career really was, I don't think he's doing much before you went to a conference. Is that right?
That's absolutely right.
So I'll let you tell a little bit of your story and just talk about a little bit how conference was a game changer for you, buddy.
For sure. Well, I'll start by saying that I would not still be a part of this company if I didn't go to a conference. And I mean that honestly. The reason I know that is a couple years ago right before I went to my first conference, I was on the verge of quitting before Grant got me to go. And so if you're in that same spot and you have hope that you want to stick around here, then conference should be a non-negotiable, in my opinion. In terms of a tangible result, what that looked like was pre-conference, before I went to my first conference, my biggest month was 2,100 in premium. I noticed Brian Hamby wrote 7,000 last week. DJ Robinson wrote 6. Valzar wrote 13 grand. I wrote 2,100 in a month. That was my biggest month pre-conference. After
Killing
conference, you're killing it. I think that's what I spent in leads in a 6-month period too. So like there was just so much out of whack. But that conference was the last weekend in August. September, the following month, I wrote 17,000, and I was part-time. And I think I did the math on my commissions. I went back and looked at it. I think I made like $8,000 in a month as a college student. I was just like, this is insane. I remember sitting my mom down and telling her like, dude, this is craziness. Now, it wasn't that I came back from conference a different person, but a lot of times the barrier between a new agent who hasn't had success yet and a seasoned agent like myself or anybody else on this call who's written business, that barrier is belief. Because if you don't believe in what it is you're doing, you're really not going to approach it with a proactive mindset. You're not going to have the energy that Sharon Casanova was just talking about, because you don't believe in what it is you're doing. If you go to, I went to Walmart yesterday, and I was just thinking about this actually. You go to Walmart, the cashiers are not super excited to ring up your groceries. You know, there's not a whole lot of belief in what it is they're doing. It's just they're just going through the motions. And tons of different jobs and careers have that same characteristic of just going through the motions. You can do that here, but you won't be here 3 months from now. And so what I got from conference that made the difference for me was a belief. And I got that belief because of association. I was in a room of 4,000 people, all saying that they were getting results that I wanted. And so it wasn't like I had doubt that this works. I didn't have doubts that it was legitimate. I didn't have doubts that people were making money. I also didn't have doubts in the character and leadership of the company. And so I got belief and I got association. I got to meet you, Chris, and Lauren and Val and Joe. And that was the biggest difference maker. And one of the things I've noticed too is after every conference or after every event, my production, my recruiting, and the team's overall production has a big uptick and spike. And so if you were to compare it to stocks, for example, when a company has like a really big event, like GameStop just had when Reddit bought them, their stock freaking quadrupled in price. The same thing will happen for your business when you go to an event like that. And you can control that. And I think conference tickets right now, I mean, the virtual conference is free, but the association of getting to Orlando, I think it's like, what is it, $40, $49, something like that?
$49.
So you need to go. One of the things Grant always told me is conference should be optional if your success here is optional. So
I love that. Hey, so write that down.
So do you want your success to be optional?
If your success here is optional, I'd write that down. Everybody write that down, because that's it. That's the truth. And we see people that really, we could really end the conference call right there. You know what I mean? It's like that's it. That's it in a nutshell. And it's, you know, it's funny just seeing the results that you had coming back from that, and just understanding that, you know, I think it's also, you know, one of the key things, certainly conference has this great training, and our virtual conference is going to have great training with it. And our conference around the virtual training is going to have some great stuff in it. Really, we're the key. And a lot of times, Elijah, I think the difference in this business though is, you know, somebody comes to conference, they go through the training during the day, they go through the virtual part of the training, and then they're sitting there at night in one of our association just part where they're getting to hang out with you and, you know, the Gillums, the Newbauers, you know what I mean, agency owners, and just really understanding. And then they ask you a question. Hey man, you know, give it to me real, right? You know what I mean? Like you didn't already give it to them real from stage or something like that. And then they ask you, well, tell me what I really need to do. And you just sit there and you have that one-on-one conversation. And a lot of times, man, that's where the breakthroughs really happen for a lot of people, right? And that access to people. Do you have any stories like that coming from a conference that was a breakthrough for you?
Absolutely. One of the most memorable ones was at Grant's first conference. He met a guy named Linwood Watkins. And he, I think he asked Linwood, like, hey, how long you been here, and that sort of thing. And Linwood Linwood is Casey Watkins' brother, for those of you who don't know. And Linwood was like, yeah, I made my first $1 million in a year last year. And Grant was like, bull crap, show me your bank account. And Linwood straight up showed him his bank account. And the point I'm trying to make is it's not all about the money, but you can't get an experience like that on a conference call. For me, I got to break bread with you at the first conference at the I think it was McCormick and Smith's, that seafood place. I got to break bread with you and Lauren. I got to meet Joe. I got to meet Jordan and Jared Gillum, and I got to put a lot of faces to names and really rub elbows with people who were getting what it was that I wanted. And Zoom is great. Conference calls are great, but there's a significant degree of separation between this and an event in person. When you go to a leadership summit, I got to sit with Maggie and Brian Pope at a dodgeball tournament 2 Novembers ago. Literally, I got to sit right next to him. You don't get that at a conference call. I got to get Casey's personal cell phone number at an event. I got to go get to grab coffee with Todd Spivey in a breakout session, and like really cool stuff that you don't get the opportunity to get. And it's more than just a conversation and getting to an event just to say you got to an event. You get to network with people who have like, it's not so much a silver bullet that you get at an event like this. A lot of times you get one like little nugget or one little tip that allows you to make a 1 degree of difference in something. And that is a lot of times the difference maker. For me, that 1 degree was belief. When I went to my first event, I got belief, and it wasn't work. Like, I wasn't working hard enough at this business because I didn't believe in it until I went to an event and I realized just how big and real it was. And so if at all what I'm describing resonates with you, Lee Jedlikas talked about on last week's conference call, the dude who's written 10 grand, 129 weeks in a row. He went to his first conference, the same conference I went to. And he said he was going to leave in 5 minutes if the people weren't authentic, he was going to leave in the first couple minutes. And he was glued to his seat, and look where he's at now. Conference was the difference maker for him. And he's somebody who English was his 4th language or something like that. The dude he's the #1 producer with Symmetry. And he literally would not be here if it wasn't for conference. And that's pretty incredible. For $49, think about this. We sell insurance, right? That's a $49 insurance policy. You'll still be here in 6 months. Think about that.
Yeah. Because one thing we study in this business, we know the numbers. We know the law of large numbers. We study the people that go to a conference, and we study the people that don't go to a conference in person. And we know the numbers. We don't really have anybody 6 months later that really works out. And we're not saying it to be harsh. We're just saying it to be real. If you were in a sport and you had a chance to go learn from Michael Jordan in person, or you're like, hey, I'll just catch him on TV, what would you do, right? Say you're a basketball player. Do you think it'd be more beneficial for you to go meet him, talk to him, not only see his sessions that they're training, but also be able to talk to him in person afterwards? So you need to be around the people that are getting the results you want and ask them questions, in person. I just think that's a lot of value to it. Lauren, I know I had you on the call, wanted to get some of your insight. Any questions you got for Elijah or anything like that?
Oh, no. I remember the night I met Elijah, him and baby Grant. They were dressed so pretty. I was like, look how pretty our little babies are. They're just all dressed up and adorable. And they were just cutie patooties. They were just so young. So, but I the first time I met, both of them, 2 separate conferences, I was just so impressed because they were just so young and full of energy and ready to go. And I don't know, life hadn't beat them up yet. You know, when you talk to some older people and they're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. They were just so like, just positive and excited. And it made us positive and excited right along with them. Like it brought our energy level up as well. So I can't thank them enough for that. And, you know, when we get to meet our people, it builds that level of trust on both sides, because you guys have to trust us in what we're doing and what we're telling you. And, you know, that we have your best interest at heart. But it also goes the other way too. We need to be able to trust you, and that trust is only built face to face. You can only build it so much with Zoom, as lovely as it is. So that's building that trust level. And I just wanted to point out that no one here said, oh, I learned about return a premium or this policy that people just love, or you know, I really fell in love with this insurance carrier at conference. Notice how nobody talks about that. It's talking about the people that they met, that trust that they built with the company, those bonds that they formed. I always talk about, you know, you need your trench buddy, your buddy that you can call when you're in the trenches. When you've had, you know, a rough night. That's what Chris would do when he was coming back home in the field. He could call one of, you know, whoever it was. That it was Brandon and Casey at one time when they were still in the field. You know, they'd talk about their day and pump each other up, and one of them might have had a bad day and the other one had a great day, and they kind of build it. But those relationships get formed at conferences. So that's why we want people to go, because we know what it's done for our business, those relationships that we built over the years. Think of it this way: if we hadn't built those relationships, none of us would be here, because Chris wouldn't have gone with Brandon and Casey. We might have gone with another company, and you might not have found Symmetry, because, you know, Chris started all this with Symmetry. So think about how powerful that is. You might not be here if Chris hadn't gone to a conference. So what does that mean for, you know, future generations of this? What happens if you don't go to a conference, and what does that do, you know, down the line? So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty profound, just thinking, you know, really the multiplying effect of what it can do down the road, right? And remember, you know, I take it back to us, and I know I've discussed it, but we took 13 people to our conference 2 weeks after we started with Symmetry Financial. And those 13 people, folks, including myself, we were at 1.2 million our first year. And we did that in 11 and a half months. And I just want you guys to know that's how powerful it was for us. And it's been life-changing for us. But we applied what the people, when we went to a conference, we applied that to our business and our life. And that really, truly made a difference. So what are we encouraging you to do? We're encouraging you, number one, right, Lauren? Get registered for conference. Tickets are $49. Where is the conference? And, you know, Elijah, Lauren, if you have anything here to add to any of this, please do. Conference is in Orlando, Florida. The dates for it are March 24th, 25th. And we have a room block scheduled. Lauren, if you will, give us the details on that room block.
Sure. Just to go back over the schedule, on the 23rd, that Tuesday night, we're going to do a welcome reception, a lovely little casual meet and greet before we get started with conference. That's going to be from 7 to 9. We'll have our conference around the conference on Wednesday and Thursday. We're still working on the exact times, but we'll have that out shortly. And then Friday is our day of association. We're going over to Universal Studios, watch Chris puke off a ride, and really enjoy our time. We're going to hang out and have we're going to wear patches, stop that motion sickness, but we're just going to have a good time, hang out, enjoy it. Room block. So our room block at the Portofino Bay Hotel. Portofino Bay Hotel at Lowe's. I will post it here in just a second. It is $159 a night. That rate is unbelievable. I looked at what the rate goes up to after our room block expires. Our room block expires 2/22. So please get booked today. It goes up to $530 for those same dates. That's the deal that we're getting here. $530. You're getting it for $159. Please take advantage of that. You can book nights before, you can book nights after. The rate goes from $320 to $329. So you can take advantage of all that. Stay at a 4-diamond hotel for $159 and get to hang out with us. Because guess what? The leaders know how important it is to stay where the conference is. It takes out all those hassles of travel, traffic, just running late, forgetting something in your room and needing to go back. Can't stress this enough. And plus, this is where we'll be hanging out. This is where we'll be. This is where you're going to meet us. So please go ahead and get registered for that room block before it expires on 2/22.
Yeah. And so that's 1 week from today, right, Lauren?
Right.
1 week from today. So think about this, and Elijah, you can speak to any of this. So Elijah this past year wrote a little bit over $280,000 in premium in his first full-time year. So that night, the night before, the Tuesday night from 7 to 9, Elijah's going to be there. What's the value of you going up and asking Elijah Carujo just questions directly and being like, man, tell it to me straight, right? And Elijah, $280,000 in premium, and he can sit there and already tell it to you straight. He's 23 years old. He deposited over $120,000 in his bank account in his first full-time year with us. So if, a lot of people ask me, well, what would it cost me if what it cost me to go? And I was like, well, really, what does it cost you if you don't go? Because I always like drawing a path for new people. And Elijah, you can speak to this. When I'm interviewing people, and a lot of you, I really want you to hear my heart here, because this is really me speaking from my heart. I'll have people all the time. I want to make 100, 150K a year. It's one of the most common things I see people when I interview them with a position for Symmetry. And I talk about conference, and I talk about the correlation with you go or you don't go. And one of the things that I say is, well, do you want to get trained? What's everybody out there? Everybody want to get trained? Give me a head nod. Right? Everybody wants to get trained, right? Oh, look, everybody's shaking their head. Everybody wants to get trained. And I say, well, okay, here's where training is. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida. It's March 24th, 25th. We can get you trained certainly some beforehand, but that's going to be the rocket ship to your business. You said you need to make between 100 and 150, which is the top 10% in income in America today. Then I need you to do what the other 90% doesn't do, which is go to the training. Okay. So here's the steps. You need to go ahead and get registered. It's $49. Room rate's $159 a night. You with me? Boom. And then if they say, oh, well, I still need to make my 150K a year, but I can't go to training, then I say, well, then I can't get you to your 150K a year. What I can do is probably get you to around 45, 50. Is that okay? Because really what it's costing them is $50,000 to $100,000 their first year if they don't go. So what you got to look is the dynamic. It's a switch. It's switching your brain. It's how you think. How you think has gotten you exactly where you are today. So if your first initial reaction is, I can't go, you have to change that thinking, because that thinking has led you to exactly where you are in life. If you're happy with it, great, continue on that path of thinking. If not, create a different paradigm and change the course of your business at least 1 degree. If you look down the road, it'll be light years away from where you are right now. But remember, a lot of times you can't afford not to go, because if I'm training somebody, if somebody's direct to me, that's the love that I'm giving them, because that's the love that somebody told me at one time when I gave them hesitation about getting to it. My first ticket for the very first conference I ever went to was $800. I didn't have $800 to my name, and that was just a ticket. It wasn't the hotel room. It wasn't anything else. Since then, I think I've made over $4 million in the business, but was it worth it? But I had to make a decision, and I had to change my life. But I had to make a decision to change it, because where I was in life was 32 years old, and I was broke as a joke with a college degree. You with me? And I had to make that change, but it was me making a paradigm shift in what I was thinking. So I just encourage you, remember, there's different ways that you can do it a little bit cheaper. Lauren, I think I wanted you to speak to this. You can get, if you've got 2 people going, you can share a room down there. Speak to that, Lauren.
Yes, sorry, I sneezed and I muted myself. I apologize.
All right.
Yes, so the setup when you, and I just posted everything on GroupMe for those of you looking for it. I just reposted it just now. When you click on that link, it lets you choose a king bed or 2 queens. So if you needed to split a room, that's $80 plus some tax. So I think it'd be come out to like $90 for your $90 a night for your half, which is huge. So, and it's a queen bed. Most of them are doubles, so you'll have plenty of space. But you can split it up like that. Chris has stayed with 3 or 4 people in a room before, in our leaner times. So just find some roommates. How you find a roommate is talk to your upline. Your upline will help you find somebody to room with. But the key is you need to get that room booked. I cannot say if we will have an extension of the room block. I need to fill up our 50 rooms first, and then I can go back and negotiate, but I probably can't guarantee it. It's a busy time for them with spring break and everything else. And we got an unbelievable deal. So take advantage of that deal. Go ahead and book your room. You can try to find a roommate afterwards, but go ahead and take care of that. Another cool thing is Chris and I have been to conferences for 16 years now, Chris? I can't even count the number of conferences we've been to.
Over 30.
Everywhere across the United States, we have gone. If there was a conference, we were at that conference because we wanted to change. We wanted to get better. We wanted a different life for ourselves than what we grew up with. Honestly, that's what it was. We wanted something different. We wanted choices. Conference led to that. So we were at a conference, no matter where it was or if we could afford it or not. We made sure we were at a conference. The worst things were when conferences were at a hotel and they were far away from everything and you were stuck at the hotel eating hotel food and it was really, really expensive. I've always kept that in the back of my mind. So whenever I book a hotel, I try to make sure that there's lots of choices for everybody. I know everybody has dietary restrictions these days and different pocketbooks. So the way that the Universal hotels are set up with, they're all within walking distance of City Walk. City Walk is this huge mecca of different restaurants and shops, and they have Burger King, they have sandwich places, they have fancy steak places. So whatever you want, they have. The hotel also has, I think, 5 restaurants open right now, including a Starbucks, a grab and go, a pizza place, 2 Italian restaurants. So many choices. So you can fit something within your budget right there. So I don't want anybody to stress out about the extras. I've taken care of those for you.
Love it. I love it. Elijah, any parting shots before we get off here, buddy?
Yeah, one last thought here. Excuse the background noise. I got dogs. 3 things. When I went to conference, that was the first business event outside of college I'd ever been to. And one of the things that I was thinking about as you guys were talking was if you only do what you've always done, you will only get what you've always gotten. So if you want to get something different, you need to do something different. I started getting different results when I did something different and went to a conference. And so if you want to get something different, you're not going to get it doing the same things you've always done. The second thing I'll say is not only is this a huge opportunity if you want to make a ton of money producing, but if you bring 10 people with you, that translates to a team that cranks out $50,000 in passive income in a year. If you bring 10 people with you in March, by March of next year, you will have made statistically 50 grand in passive income. And so if you don't have a team, if you're scared of recruiting, bring them with you. Let me, let Jordan, let Val and Joe and Chris recruit for you. Make us work for you. We're not going to charge for that. And so if you want to build a team and you don't know how to recruit, if you don't know how to answer questions, if you haven't done crap here yet, and you're like, I want to build a team, but I want to learn first, use us, borrow our success story. It doesn't cost you anything to bring people with you. And who knows, if you bring 10 people, you might, when all the dust settles in 90 days, you'll have a team doing 50 grand a month in production over the course of a year. That's a $50,000 passive income. And so It's not a question of, are you coming? When I'm calling my people today, it's a question of how many people are you bringing? Okay, so that's the first thing. The second is this trip is entirely tax deductible, which is a big win. And you can cover the entire trip, flights, hotels, food, with 2 apps. 2 apps. So if you can't afford to go write 2 extra applications between now and end of March. It's not, you don't need to write 20 extra apps, it's 2 in the next 5 weeks. Okay. And then the last thing I'll reiterate, Chris, that you said was, what is it going to cost you to not go? I'll leave it with that.
Love it. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. You've got your things. It's not just if you're going, it's how many people are you bringing. Decide that today. Book your room, book your tickets. Let's go. See you guys there.